Hello friends and welcome. As I think we'd all agree, the most flattering look for our face makeup is a natural look. A look where all of our face products blend together beautifully and seamlessly. But I'm sure that most of us have had the experience of applying blush, contour, or highlighter that ends up looking patchy, streaky, downright unattractive, and actually ages us. And while these products can do wonders for our complexion, a botched application can do exactly the opposite. So today I'll first cover some general tips on how we can apply blush, contour, and highlighter perfectly every time so it doesn't age us. And since the cause of a less than perfect makeup look can also boil down to the formula of the product and how we apply that formula, I'll also share with you some no-fail application methods that can banish blotchy and streaky looks forever. But first, let me welcome back those of you who are returning and introduce myself to those of you who are new to this channel. My name is Elise, and I'm a well over 50 makeup artist whose passion is helping those of us over 50 look like the very best version of ourselves. And to do that, we talk makeup tips, techniques, tools, and products on this channel that can not only help us look our best, but also help us feel our best. And occasionally, we also touch on fashion and wellness. So if this focus sounds like a match for your interests, please hit that subscribe button before you leave today. So now let's get down to the business of how we avoid a splotchy, streaky, or a too strong look with our blush, contour, and highlight. First, let's talk some general tips that make quite a major difference in how our makeup looks. The first tip is to exfoliate our skin once or twice a week before applying our makeup to get rid of dead skin cells. That's because if we don't exfoliate and we apply makeup over dry and flaky skin, our makeup can look streaky and uneven. However, if you have rosacea, you should definitely not exfoliate. Second, prep your skin with moisturizer because dry skin and makeup are not friends. Even if you have oily skin, use a moisturizer, but be sure it's oil-free. Third, consider applying a face primer because face primers do a wonderful job of creating an even surface on which makeup products can be applied. And many face primers help with other challenges that we have as well, such as large pores or redness. If you have oily skin, and Marianne, I'm thinking about you and others in our family on this channel who have oily skin, a mattifying face primer or oil-absorbing foundation can be a lifesaver, as I'm sure you're aware. That's because the natural oils in our skin can cause other products to look splotchy and streaky. Fourth, be sure to use a foundation brush or a sponge to even out the foundation. Because if our foundation is thicker in some areas than in other areas, we're definitely asking for trouble when we apply other products over it, since the foundation won't absorb into the skin evenly. Fifth, the three key words for blush, contour, and highlighter application are blend, blend, and blend. This helps the products look more natural so they don't look like they're sitting on top of our face. Number 6, consider using a setting spray or setting powder. That's because as our makeup fades throughout the day, it can start to have the dreaded double S look, splotchy and streaky. 7th, clean our makeup brushes weekly. Now I know it's the last thing most of us want to do, but excess makeup and oil from our skin can build up on the bristles, which can be very detrimental to our makeup look. 8th, we may need to say goodbye to old brushes. Now I know it's hard to give up an old friend which has been there for us on countless occasions over the years, but it may be time to part ways. If the density or shape of the brush has changed, it's time to make friends with a new brush. 9th, we need to avoid being too heavy-handed with our application of the product. We want to take the Goldilocks approach of not too much and not too little, but just right. We can always blot or pat away excess product with a sponge or pat over it with foundation, but it's far easier to add more of a product than to take away some of the product. 10, make sure that you pick a shade that works with the undertone of your skin since blush, contour, and highlighter aren't a one-size-fits-all proposition or a one-color-fits-all proposition. Applying a product that's too bright, dark, or the wrong undertone can actually age us. 11, as we all know, blush especially can disappear after only just a few hours of wear, so we need to layer our blush for staying power. There are several ways to do this. We can layer powder blush over cream, or we can pat on cream over powder or liquid blush, or we can simply apply a layer of cream or liquid blush, then press a makeup sponge with setting spray on it over the blush and then apply another layer of blush. Well, now that we've covered general tips, let's focus on one of the most crucial things that determines how polished or how poor our face makeup looks, and that's how we apply particular product formulas. Determining how best to apply a product is determined by two things. First, the formula of the product. In other words, is it stiff and more challenging to blend out, or is it soft and more blendable? And second, how intense or saturated the color is. If the product is stiff and doesn't blend out easily, avoid applying it directly on your skin from the applicator. Instead, put some on the back of your hand or in your palm and pick up the color with a brush. Next, rub the brush over the product several times to make sure you get an even distribution of the product on your brush, and then apply it on the outer part of the face first and move toward the center. This is because the brush will deposit the greatest amount of product where we first place it on our face. And we don't want to have the greatest amount of product on the center of our face. Let me go ahead and demonstrate the difference in formula with these two products, Wet n Wild's Contour Stick and M Cosmetics Contour Stick. This is the Wet n Wild Stick Contour. Now, as you can see, it's blending out, but it's not blending out real easily. And here's the contour from the M Cosmetics brand, and this is the color Terra. And you can see how easily that's blending out. As you can probably tell, the Wet n Wild product is quite a bit stiffer and harder to blend out, whereas the M Cosmetics product glided on far more easily. I would definitely recommend applying the Wet n Wild stiffer formula to my arm or palm first, and then picking it up with a brush to apply it. Now, you can certainly apply the softer and easier to blend M Cosmetics contour in the same way, but it's so creamy and easy to blend and will be very easy to blend out if we apply it directly to the face. I'm going to apply the Wet n Wild contour directly from the applicator to one side of my face and the M Cosmetics contour directly from the applicator on the other side of my face so you can see the difference. First, the Wet n Wild contour. And then I'll blend it out. And it certainly is blending out, but I'm pushing on the brush quite a bit. And now let's do M Cosmetics. I barely touch my face and it just glides on. I don't know if you could really see the difference, but just take a look at how easily this is blending, and I'm not pushing nearly as hard on the brush as I did with the Wet n Wild product. Now let's focus on the second way we can determine how to apply a blush, contour, or highlight product, by determining how intense or saturated the color is. We'll do this by comparing two different blushes, Rare Beauty's Liquid Pinch Blush, which is very saturated, and the Afterglow Liquid Blush from Nars, their Liquid Glow Blush, which is not as saturated. I'll put a dot of each on the back of my hand and then blend it out a little so you can see the comparison. And here are the two blushes. The Nars is on your left and the Rare Beauty on the right. I think you can see how saturated that color is. And even after I've blended it out a bit, I think you can still see how saturated it is, which is why you only need a very small amount of this blush. And then look at the difference with the Nars blush. And after blending it out, you can see how sheer it is. So this blush you can easily apply from the applicator and not worry about it at all. So as you could tell, the Rare Beauty Liquid Pinch Blush is far more heavily saturated than the Nars product. So I would definitely put the Rare Beauty blush on the back of my hand or in my palm, rub my brush around in it several times to get an even distribution of color, and then apply it. So I'm going to do just that. I put some on the back of my hand, and now I'm going to put my brush in it, rub it around several times to get an even distribution, and then apply it. I'm going to start at the back and work my way forward. And as you can see, that application technique works very well. And now I'm taking the Nars blush and I'm just dotting a little bit on my cheek because this is so thin and not saturated that I can easily do this and still get a perfect blush application. Since the Nars liquid blush is not as saturated as the Rare Beauty liquid blush, I can apply it directly from the applicator onto my cheek without any problem whatsoever. Now let's compare different intensities and different saturations of two different highlighters. My Wet n Wild highlighter is quite intense and saturated, and my Merit Beauty highlighter in Cava is far less intense and saturated. The Wet n Wild product is on your right and the Merit Beauty product on the left. And I think you can definitely see the difference. This is the Wet n Wild product, which is very intense, and you can barely even see the Merit product. This is the Merit product. So I'll place the Wet n Wild highlighter on the back of my hand and apply it with a brush, and apply the Merit highlighter, cream stick highlighter, directly on my face from the applicator. Here's the Wet n Wild highlighter. And you can see the brush works beautifully with this highlighter. But it's still an intense formulation, so if you want a more subtle formulation, you'll want to go with a product like the Merit product. And here's the Merit highlighter. And this is just going to go directly above my blush. And I'll just blend it out with my fingers. I must say that until I actually use a face product and determine how easily it applies and how saturated the color is, I always err on the side of caution and apply it with a brush or a sponge. Well, that wraps things up for today. If you enjoyed today's video, please do hit that thumbs up icon to let the YouTube algorithm know. And do let me know if you'd like to receive my weekly newsletter and/or would like to set up a personal Zoom makeup consultation. Over the holidays, I had so much fun doing Zoom makeup consultations with Linda, Debbie, Nancy, and Gwen, and if you'd enjoy a one-on-one makeup session together, I'd love to work with you as well. Just drop me a line at boomerandbeyondbeauty@gmail.com to let me know if you'd like to receive my weekly newsletter or would like to set up a Zoom makeup consultation, or both, and I'll get back to you right away. Until next Thursday, I wish you good health and happiness, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Take care.